Hi, welcome to Spirituality. My name is Vanessa and you're watching my channel, Embracing Expansion. It is not very hot today, so I don't expect to be all sweaty. But it is warm. I guess it's not just the peak sun time here. I am in the Caribbean, so in a lot of my videos I'm gonna be shiny because my fan is really like loud and my AC is in my room. You can hear the chickens in the background, the birds. So anyway, guys, today on Spirituality, I just wanted to, I was doing a bit of thinking earlier this week, and every week, I try to come up with different topics, and a lot of the times the topics are actually, they flow because there are just some general rules to life, so a lot of them just flow into each other. And today, about Sunday, I sat there and I was like, thinking about, religion, because last week we spoke about, atheists, etc. And I was just thinking about why I became a part of religion, over religion. It's not, and I'll say it again, I'm not against religion. This is just my spirituality, hence TEA. So it's going to be, little things that I reflect on regarding my spiritual life, whether they're current or they're past things, or just things that I have questions about, or realizations that I've come to. So I was a part, like I said in my video last week, I was a part of 4 different religions. The Catholic religion, which I was born into. I made my first communion, and it was a norm, I guess. It's a norm in the Caribbean, maybe everywhere, I guess too, yeah. And then I became a Pentecostal, and then I became I became an Adventist, and then I briefly attended the Evangelical Church. I'm not sure what the difference between the Catholic, Evangelical, and Pentecostal churches are. I cannot tell you that. And this is what I was actually thinking about that led me to this conversation, or this train of thought, or this question for myself. Why did I become a part of a religion? And I also spoke last week about my upbringing and family trauma. And I realized that religion, to me, why I joined religion was because I was looking for answers. So I was looking for answers, and I wanted to belong. I wanted somewhere to belong. And I feel like maybe someone can relate to that. Religion, the idea of religion or a church it's good. It's a good place to be, and people are supposed to be nice there, and you're gonna have kind of like a second family, or your family of God, or a family, And so when I was going through these challenging times in my life, home was the last place I wanted to be. I did not want to be home. I remember in high school I would take part in every single thing just to get away from my home. One of my teachers, even she used to tell me that you're in everything. Like, even if I couldn't do it, I would sign up for it. That's how much I did not want to be at home. And I discovered a lot about myself, so I'm happy that I did those things. And I think generally that's a good approach in life. You're gonna discover stuff about yourself when you decide to just try things. So I kind of have an okay attitude about trying something and not succeeding at it, because I just want to know that I tried it, like I tick it off, I remember the strangest thing I signed up for was the bun and coke eating competition. I was like so skinny. I was super skinny, and I signed up for it. I did not expect to win. And I also think one of the reasons I signed up for it, between you and I, was because we were like poor, and it was just like food. So I was like, I'll do that because it'll mean I've had a meal or something to eat. So I really wasn't trying to race. I was just eating my lunch. Anyway, I joined a church because I needed to get away from home. And it was like school did it for me on a weekday, but on weekends I also wanted to get out of the house. So I joined, I would say, the Adventist church. But before I was in the Adventist church, I did my first communion at 7. That I had no control over. I never really understood why it was a thing. I still don't know why. I have no idea why. It just felt like we were studying for some exam. That's what it felt like when I did it. And there was a party on the day that I did it, but it wasn't really about me. It felt like it was for everybody else. Like it was just a tradition. I think I was 7. It was just a tradition that my grand aunt, I believe, took care of the expenses and stuff of. And yeah, so in high school, about when I was 14, I joined the Adventist church. And it was, to be honest, it was a beautiful experience for me because I felt like I had a family, you know, and I felt seen there at home. I wasn't feeling ignored at home, but I felt like I wasn't given the attention when it came to my education and my dreams and my goals and even spirituality. Home was just home, where you just did chores and went to bed and, you know, all of that. And when I joined this church, I made friends, and I had no friends before that because I was moving a lot, from changing schools a lot. So I did not believe that I could make friends because I always felt like I was going to have to move. But when I joined the Adventist church, we were staying where we were for about 7 years already. So I guess I felt a little more relaxed. And then I joined the church and I made really great friends. And then I started to sing in the church. And I remember forming a group called the Gospel Sensations with, like, it was, I think, about 5 of us, really, really awesome people that were very impactful in my life and just gave my life so much meaning at that point and direction. And there was a joy, there was an eagerness to go to church. But I was not going to church because of God. That's my honest opinion. That's how I feel. That's looking back at it. I wasn't going to church because I was trying to learn about God. In fact, my favorite part of church was song service because I guess I love music. And after that, I could not listen to the whole sermon part of it. In fact, the reason I think I couldn't listen to it is because a lot of it was, to me, just scary. Like, I felt like it was an induction of fear. Like, if you don't do this, or you have to do this because this is going to happen, and God's not going to like that, and God is angry at us, and we are disappointing God, and all of that. So I actually was not attending church for God. But I got so many good things out of church. You know, I was looking for direction, and I was looking for a place to belong, and I guess an escape from my house. So in no way am I saying that church was bad, because church helped me to, I would have probably like lost my mind if I stayed at home, because home was not a nice place to be for me, because of the arguing and all of those things, the arguing, the swearing, the threats. Like, I was scared to be at home. And so when I went to church, I met nice people, you know, and they made me believe that, hey, there are nice people here, and that means there are possibly more nice people everywhere else. You know, when I got into singing, when I started singing, I remember my name being put down to sing without my knowledge, and I would just be sitting there, or even outside, chatting with my friends, and just someone would come and be like, they put your name down to do a special song. And I'd be like, oh my gosh. And I would just, on my way there, think of a special song to sing. And I loved singing. I loved feeling, I don't think I've ever loved singing for like attention. I just loved to see how people would smile and be happy. And even if I wasn't always really, really good at singing, but I was good enough, I guess. And they were just always happy and cheering me on, and I did not know those things, you know. I didn't know people to be so supportive of me. I always felt like I felt invisible, but I was never treated invisibly, like in school or anything. I guess now we could say I felt undeserving of it, or like, why, I would be like, why are you doing that? But I was still happy to receive it. And it was from there that I developed my love for music, from the church. And I'm sure that many, many singers, this is where they started. This is where they got their motivation and their love of music from. So I am so grateful for church, even if I went to church initially And I don't think that it's something that that should be taken negatively, because it did serve a beautiful purpose in my life. You know, some other people I met, they're just always in my heart, even if we don't speak, because I guess they live across the world or we lost contact. But they have always just I hope one day, I hope that maybe one of them sees this video, because they had the most beautiful impact on my life, you know. And so I'm happy that I went to church, even if it was not for God, it was for a getaway, you know. We have to ask ourselves this is like shadow work in a sense, like where you ask yourself certain questions because to reflect or to understand you better. Shadow work, for those of us who don't know, is like what I just said. When you ask yourself the difficult questions and you answer honestly, it's not something that you do with people around. It's something that you do in your private, quiet moments. And this is a bit of shadow work. This was a bit of shadow work for me. That's why I'm able to talk about it now, because I figured it out. I'm like, why did you go to church? Like, you were never like really in the church during the sermons or during the whatever, you know. I was just in the church because I needed, and it did a wonderful thing for me. And maybe some people start off like that, you know, just getting to church because they need somewhere to belong or somewhere to get away to a happy place. And then they become maybe pastors, maybe, but that wasn't my you know, journey. That's not my story. But I'm just saying that it does still serve a purpose, and it did serve a good purpose for me. So yeah, and I still love God, and I love God, and I know that there's a God, and it's just, I feel like I said in one of the videos, in the video about the atheism on Spirituali-TEA last week, you know, we just believe in God, and as long as you believe in something, then something good, then you are believing in God. That's how I think about it. And I believe in God. My idea of God, or how I think of Him, or how you think of Him, might not be, you know, identical, but the basis is love, and love is the basis. Love, God is love, and yeah, that's how I think of God, as love. So I don't really like reading the Bible or read the Bible at all. I've never liked it, to be quite honest. But I know some parts of it, like maybe through songs, like Psalms 91, and there's another one, Psalms 100, I think it is. Yes, so like I know some bits of it, but I just know that we don't it doesn't have to be so complicated. Like, me not going to church didn't make me me going to church for the wrong reason didn't make me a bad person. It actually brought more light into my life and more direction and more clarity, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to reflect on why I joined religion, why I went to church. So this has been spirituality. Maybe you should ask yourself that. Maybe you'll get some answers. Ask yourself why. We have to ask ourselves those questions in our quiet moments. Why am I doing this? Is this making me happy? Why do I want to do this? Is it because I want to do it, or is it because it feels safe? Is it because someone else wants me to do it? Ask yourself those questions. Give yourself your own cup of spirituality. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. This is Finesse, and I hope that you found something to enlighten you today, to encourage you. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.